Hi everybody, welcome to the Positive Impact Project. This is Ingrid Zinger and I'm here today with Fernando Marin.
Hi!
We are going to be doing some live readings today, so I hope you guys are ready for some fun.
Yes, and this is our first one, so please bear with us because we're still trying to get our shit together. So
yeah, we're going to just kind of, free flow.
Free ball it, yeah.
Usually on our own channels we have live readings like this, but this is the first one we're coordinating. So what we're going to do is just kind of jump in there when you have a question. We're going to just see if we can tune in, and we may take turns and just see how it goes. So welcome everybody, thanks for tuning in. I see we have a couple of people joining us already, so feel free to type in a question, and again, we're going to try to get to everybody, but bear with us, we may spend more time on one person and might not be able to get to everybody's questions, but thank you for joining us. Do you have anything to share to start with?
Yes, be specific. This is not the time to test the psychic because that's annoying. Don't say, what do you see? Be specific with your question, because it's almost as if our intuitive capacity, our psychic ability is like a laser flashlight. And if you want us to tune into something specific, you got to point us in the direction of where you want us to tune into, because our minds aren't everywhere. We're not going to tune into every single thing about you. We're only going to tune into specific bits of information. And you'll actually see that in one of the readings that I'm going to do. So, but ask a specific question so that way we can give you as much specific of an answer as we can.
Right. And it's how I kind of see it too with people is they're like a big cherry tree with a million cherries, and we might pick what's really available, the low hanging fruit. But if you want something that's on the top of the tree, you gotta let us know. We gotta go searching for that.
Right.
So
Exactly.
There's so much information around each person. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. One thing we're going to do today is actually talk to Josie, who is going to kind of listen in and have a conversation with Ferny about their reading together. So you're going to get a little bit of a live reading in that way. But we're going to go ahead and start with Teresa, who has actually, go ahead. She sent a question earlier about creativity. Thank you, Teresa, for doing that. So we're going to tune into her and just kind of see what comes up for us.
So what's the question exactly?
So I think it was more about what she should be doing, and maybe in a creative aspect. I want to say that she's really looking for maybe more of a life purpose, like what she should be doing
Okay.
with her skills.
Right. Okay. So what should I be doing? Okay, so you go first.
Okay, so when I tune into you, I really see broad strokes here. And it's not necessarily the idea of painting, but it's the idea of broad strokes, meaning that I think you have a lot of different skills, that there's a lot of things you can do. And usually when you have too many choices, it's like having no choices at all. It can be very confusing. So what I want to say is that your perfect job or scenario has a lot to do with using all of the different skills that you have. There's going to be the perfect thing for you that's going to combine those things. You don't have to pick just one. You're a creative person. So what I want you to do is kind of open yourself up a little bit, and don't close that box. Don't keep yourself in this place where you think you should only do one thing, because you shouldn't. You should be doing something that really involves either doing a lot of different things or all of those things being in one job, like working for yourself. And I feel like you have something that you should be doing on your own. I don't necessarily see you working with a bunch of other people. I see you kind of doing something where you are serving humanity. You're working for the greater good, but you're doing it by yourself, that you really know the best way to do something. And if you listen to your own guidance, that it comes out perfectly.
It's funny that you said strokes. It's with painting with the strokes, because I actually was visually seeing painting, which was funny.
Yeah.
I was actually seeing painting with a twist. And what's interesting is if you've ever gone to a painting with a twist class, you know that the way it's set up is they have like a buttload of people come in. They all have their paintings and their canvases, and they get to paint and so forth. And there's an instructor that's on stage. He's walking you through the whole process and helping you to get to the point. Now, when I tune into your energy, I don't see you as the person on stage helping people to paint, because even though you may be artistic, I don't necessarily feel like you're confident enough in your ability to paint to be on stage doing so. But that hardcore person behind the counter who's like, is she in the right spot? And make sure that her credit card went through, that person, that energy, that's what I feel you represent. So I think that you need to be in charge. I think that you need to be in a position where you're coordinating efforts, that you are in a position where you are involved in some sort of creative work, but it's more of a coordinator role, not necessarily a position where you're doing the artistic work or you have people following you. So I think that something in a coordinator role like that would be good. And I would suggest looking into something like Painting with a Twist or those kinds of companies where you get to coordinate efforts. You don't have to constantly be, you know, in charge of everybody at that moment, but when it all comes together, it all comes together. So I think a coordinator-like role in an artistic or holistic way would be a great option for you. And my thinking is you probably are going to find something like this around or by May of this year.
Great. Thank you, Fernando. Also, we have Jenny, who said that she wanted to know about the court date from before. She did send in a message. So Jenny from the block, I don't know why, I just could not say that. She wanted to know about her husband, if the court date was going to be the last court date, and also if it was going to come out in his favor.
Okay, so you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay, so when I tune into first of all, I'm seeing the number 3. So I'm not sure how many court dates there have been, but I feel like there's 3 major dates or 3 major, 3 major events or 3 major dates. I almost feel like one of them either is not going to happen or it was canceled or just had to be completely postponed. But then I'm seeing the 2 that are follow up on. I'm thinking this is going to be the last one. But I kind of feel like there's a follow-up to this, meaning that once this happens, there's a follow-up date that feels as if they're supposed to like check in or follow up as far as his situation or what's going to be happening moving forward. But I feel like that's more of around September or October, because I keep seeing September for some reason. So I feel like there's a follow-up or something around September that is going to be basically completing this whole process for you guys.
Great, thank you. And it looks like Josie's ready if you wanted to call her. We're going to talk to Josie live as well and kind of do the reading with her online.
Yeah. So Josie, just backtrack. So you guys know, Josie is someone...
a friend of mine.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to get her on the phone, I'm going to put her on speaker, and I'm going to do a reading for her. And I'm actually going to do a full reading because I want you guys to kind of see the process. I've never met Josie. I've never talked to Josie. All I had going into this was her first name. And so she's actually surprised I already did the reading. And what happens when I do my readings is I actually spend time in meditation and tuning into each person before the session, because I want to tune into their higher good. I want to tune into the source of information. Sometimes I feel like if I'm sitting close to them, I'm being affected by their own emotions and their own feelings about their own life, and I don't want their junk to get into my feelings, into what I'm sensing. I want to kind of see it from a distance, so that way I feel like I can see it more clearly, more objectively, and I'm not impacted by their emotions. But I'm going to go ahead and connect with Josie. We're going to do the reading, and then keep asking your questions, because we'll get back to your questions as soon as we're done with this. So let's see. Get Josie on the phone here.
And Jessica, we'll get to you right after Josie, okay? I see you got some questions about your health and your psychic gifts.
Hello? Josie?
Is she there?
Josie? Hello?
We're having technical difficulties.
All right, let's try that again. Okay, call again.
Hello.
Hello, Josie?
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good.
I'm sorry, I guess we had a bad connection.
No, it's fine. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. You ready for your reading?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've never met you before and you've never met me, correct?
Right.
All right, just a disclaimer before we start. Remember, I am not a physician, I am not an attorney, and I am not a law enforcement official. So if you need any help that requires any of those, please seek a professional. Everything that I share with you is my personal opinion only. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, great. So what we're going to do is The way that I conduct my readings is I spend some time this morning in meditation. I knew you by your first name. I didn't know anything else about you. All I knew is that you were going to be participating in this. So I took your first name and I tuned into your energy in meditation, and I focused in on the 4 major areas of your life. I focused in on your health and wellness, your finances, your career and work, and your relationships. Now, because this is on camera and we are live, there are some things that I'm going to kind of tiptoe around, and I may tell you a little more specifically when we're off camera because it's a little sensitive. But aside from that, I'm going to try to be as open and as honest with you as I can. I'm going to go over each of these areas. Once I'm done, then you can ask me whatever questions you want to know about.
Okay.
Cool? All right, so let's start with your health and wellness. So when I tuned into your health and wellness, the first area I was taken to was the upper back and the neck. And I almost feel as if there's a bit of a misalignment with that upper back neck area. And I kind of feel like some of this has actually happened gradually over a period of time. But then I also feel there was an event that kind of triggered this and made this even worse. Because I also feel there's a connection to this that aligns with the shoulder as well. So I almost feel like one side of your body, which is would be like, so going into the upper back, the neck, and then one shoulder side, there's almost something that's just gradually getting worse. And I feel like it's already been there, and then an event triggered it or got it even further, made it worse. And then I also kept wanting to go to the elbow. So there's a sensitivity there. So that was one thing that I was tuning into. Another thing was I did feel there was some digestive sensitivities. It's almost as if it's like you can't figure out how you want to eat in your life. So you've probably made a few changes over the years, and I think in doing this you might have thrown your system off, and it doesn't really know what to do with you. So I did sense some inflammation in the intestines. I would not be surprised if you have an allergy to dairy, because I keep looking at dairy or cheese as it being an issue, and it may actually be showing up on your skin as inflammation on the skin as well. I also feel that the gut flora may be off because of some of these changes you've made over the years. So in other words, I would suggest maybe taking a probiotic, because that might get the balance back, so that way your stomach reacts a little better with some of these foods. If you're going to continue to eat dairy, it'll kind of help it to digest and get through that. Another thing I was tuning into with your health and wellness was I did feel you probably would be going to the dentist. Not now. Normally I pick up on that when it's happening soon, but I feel like you might be going to the dentist within during the second half of this year. I think this is something that you've been needing to do, and you've been putting it off either because of finances or because of time, but I feel that you've been putting this off, and I feel like there's something temporary was done to maybe deal with this, but it's not been permanently fixed, and I feel like you're probably going to go and get this taken care of long term. I almost feel like one tooth is actually either cracking or pressing into another tooth or into the gum, and it feels kind of weird. So this is something you might end up getting fixed or taken care of by the end of the year. The last thing with health and wellness was I did feel there was a period of time where you were on some sort of medication or supplement, and this was helping to regulate your system, but I almost feel like you've gotten off of this, or this is something you're no longer invested in, and I feel like this might also be affecting your emotional and mental stability. So you might be noticing your emotions and your mental state just becoming a little more imbalanced, and especially around that certain time of the month where people normally have more reactions, I feel like it's becoming a little more challenging for you as well. Now, I know some people go on birth control or certain types of medications or supplements that help them to regulate their hormone levels, but I kind of feel like this is just something that it's almost like your body needs that and it's not getting it. So I feel like there's something there that's a little bit off. Let's go over to finances. When I tuned into your financial situation, your finances feel okay for the first part of 2017. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just okay, meaning that it's not any different than what you're used to. But I do see you being overextended. Again, not something that you're not used to. So I do see you being a little overextended. This trend continues until April though. So something is definitely changing for you by the April time period. At that point, there may be some returns at that time. I'm actually seeing 2 returns, meaning that you may receive money or funds from 2 different sources. I'm not sure if this is a job situation or if this is just money that you're owed or that you're waiting on, and it should be arriving for you in April. I think actually one of them may be taxes, which is a little boost because of taxes. Another one may be money that you are owed or that money that you're expecting to receive at that time. But this does seem finite, so it's not long term. It feels like it's only going to be for so long, and then you would have to keep an eye on what you're going to do with that, so that way you don't run out. I also felt there was a lot of changes or adjustments with your location, property, real estate, residence, because I kept seeing you bouncing around. And I felt that around May or June, you'd probably stabilize or you get into more of a permanent situation. And it's almost as if there's going to be some sort of a license or an agreement that sets the tone for the rest of the year. So I do see something that feels very stable with your work and with your living situation by May or June. And I feel like there is going to be some sort of a formal agreement or document that's signed that's going to make this feel very strong and very stable for you. I also saw you trying to sustain more than one living situation or location simultaneously. So it's almost as if you were going to be bouncing around between a couple of places, or you were trying to support or sustain two separate living situations, but you weren't fully invested in one. So you were just bouncing around. And I feel that you may have to have some sort of conversation with like a co-partner, or a sustainer, a sponsor, someone that's helping you financially. You might have to have a conversation with someone in order to get this in order to get this situation understood, so that way you can kind of be in a better place by the second half of the year. But May and June is definitely significant. Again, going back to that, because I feel like that's going to represent stability in your year as far as your finances and in your living situation. Do
you want to take a break and?
Sure.
I don't know, this
is a lot. So after the finances, okay. I'm going to take a moment, and then we can go to career and work in a little while. But I also saw you see changes. Texas is probably be done previously. Almost done. I also saw you making some changes with your financial accounts. So I didn't know if you were going to be changing banks or if you were going to be going from one financial system to another. But I almost saw you changing financial accounts and financial accounts. And I almost saw you having to deal with taxes twice, or having to file taxes twice because something wasn't done the first time. Be careful if you have someone do your taxes, or if you're a newbie and you're used to doing your taxes yourself. There may be some sort of filing adjustment you need to make, and I feel like you will be actually filing something differently this year than you have in past years. So I feel like that's going to come up for you as well around tax time. Okay, so let's take a break there. What do you want to ask me?
Mm-hmm. is definitely something that I've dealt with for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really well endowed,
mm-hmm.
and so it's caused back issues.
Yeah.
As my life has progressed, and they've gotten worse and worse, and I'm still dealing with it. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So that's something that definitely resonated. I know it's a problem, but mm-hmm. I guess I put off getting it taken care of.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm drawing blank. Hold on.
No, it's fine. You're fine.
There's a lot of information to take in. You're probably
I kind of overwhelm people at first. That's why, Which is why whenever someone comes to me, I usually record the session, because they're going to have to go back and listen to the whole thing again, because it's a lot of information to go through.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any questions, Josie? A question for him right now?
No, not right now. I don't. I guess about finances.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use a bank, I don't, because I'm on what is the word?
Government assistance.
Right, that.
Okay.
I'm on a very set income.
Yeah.
So I don't bank, and I don't make enough. I don't bring in enough money to be required to pay taxes.
Right. So here's the thing. So I almost feel as if, first of all, when you file taxes, or the way that you have to claim or do anything this year, it's almost as if there's a certain status you have to file under. But I feel like something's happening differently this year than it has in past years. I almost want to say it's because of the medical side of things, and you might have to file things a little differently this year because of that. But one of the reasons why I do see you having an account with a bank or something is because I do see you having some sort of income coming in that's non-governmental. So it does feel like a work or career like situation coming up by mid-year, and many companies nowadays, they require that people have like direct deposit accounts and so forth. So I kind of get the feeling you're going to have to get some sort of account in order to get this flowing properly.
Well, that would be great. A job would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else, Josie, before he goes on to the next phase, next section?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So let's talk about your career and work, because we just touched on that a few seconds. So I definitely feel you're in a transition and going over to another field or area of work. Now, obviously, you're not working right now, assuming that. So you are going into a working situation or work scenario. I get the feeling that you focused your energy on heading down a particular path or safe zone, meaning that you were trying really hard to just have something stable or have income coming in, and that didn't really work out for you. I kind of feel like you didn't pursue your passion, or you didn't put enough energy into pursuing a passion completely. And many times, and I'll say this for the people on camera, if you have a passion, you have to pursue it completely. That doesn't mean just having a great idea. That means putting everything you have into it and following through, whether it seems like it's working or not, because you have to take the risk. And I feel like you may have been very scatterbrained, where you've had plenty of ideas for things you wanted to do, but you've never wholeheartedly invested 100% of yourself into one thing. And I think that you're definitely going into a transition period. And you are going to become, first you're going to get a stable job, which I feel is going to happen. That's going to lead you to possibly getting some sort of certification, accreditation, something, because I feel there's going to be actually 2 certifications, accreditations, something within this year that is going to help you to kind of stabilize not only your work situation, but also pursue a passion. So there's 2 of those coming in this year. I also felt that I kept seeing you behind the scenes. And here's what's interesting. I almost feel like this might be the passion or the work that you're supposed to do in your life. You know, these schools where they're having like plays, and there's like the teacher that's helping coordinate all the efforts and is getting the play set up and is telling people how they need to do and all the acting and so forth. That's what I was seeing. I kept seeing that with you, and I was like, she needs to work behind the scenes from a media or stage, like, you know, production. Like, she needs to be working on the production itself, not necessarily being on stage or anything like that. So I felt like the work that you become involved in, or the work that you're going to get into in some way or another within this year, and I feel like it starts in steps, but by mid-year you should already have a direction that's kind of pointing you in this direction. It's going to be stage-related work, meaning that whether it could be like working at the Alley Theater, working at, you know, the George R. Brown, working behind the scenes for sound or something, but there's something behind the scenes that I see you getting very much coordinated and involved in. Now, as I'm saying this, I'm also seeing an emphasis or focus on the costumes. So I kind of feel like you're going to get very much involved in the way people look when they're going to be out and presenting themselves in a certain way. But you're dealing with this behind the scenes. And again, there's some certification, training, something that you're going to do before the end of the year that is going to lead you in that direction.
Josie, you have something to say about that, don't you?
Well, I do want to be a hairdresser. That is one career path that I've been looking into. My mother's a cosmetologist.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I have bright blue hair.
Got it. So, had you considered that way earlier, but then you kind of just got away from it because you just didn't think that was going to work out for you?
Yeah, before I got married, I actually was planning to go to cosmetology school.
Okay.
And I put my life on hold for attempting a marriage.
Yeah.
And so now I'm starting to I've been thinking more and more about getting back into looking at cosmetology schools in the Houston area.
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting as well. Now, I'm not sure if this is just personal travel or if this is connected to work opportunities, but I definitely saw you traveling to the upper west coast, possibly Washington State. I was actually seeing you on the Washington State-Canada edge, so I feel like there's something there that might bring you up there. I don't know if this is work-related or if this is to do with personal nature, but I also kept wanting to bump you up and take you to Colorado. So I kept taking you to Colorado and also taking you up to Washington State. Now, of course, California is the biggest west coast area, but I did keep wanting to take you up more northern than that. So I feel like that may somehow play a part in you moving forward. But I felt that this year was going to be about you basically looking at your life, looking at what you haven't accomplished, seeing what you need to do, and actually getting very dead serious about it. And it's not because you were just going to have this like aha moment. It's because life was going to force you to either take this more seriously or things were going to just get much, much worse. So I feel like you were going to be pushed and pinned into going forward with a path that is going to be best for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. This, you know, we're almost to March, and 2017 has already been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know, I quit drinking.
Oh, good.
In the middle of January, and that's, you know, I am trying to figure out what I need to do to be a like regular person and like make the right decisions. So yeah, that I agree with that. I'm hoping that 2017 is full of all of these amazing things that that you've said, because it would you know, my life could I never imagined at 23 I would be where I am now. Yeah. And it would make such a big difference in every aspect. Just even like if one thing that you've said were to change, it would be such a huge difference in my life.
Well, and let me tell you, Josie, remember, when I give a prediction or when I have an assessment of someone's life, I am seeing a probable future, which means you still take full responsibility for the direction your life is going to take. Now, if you've heard what I've said and it's aligning with what you want to do in your life, then by all means start to work towards it. Because if you just hear it and you're like, okay, well, it's going to happen, and you just kind of sit on your butt, it's really not going to happen.
You have to put the work in.
Yeah, you got to put the work in. And I almost feel like life is letting you know that on so many different levels. You can't keep doing this, Joseph. You got to get serious about this. And FYI, the makeup artistry or the cosmetology or the hair work, I feel it's going to be more on a costume like level than just basic like, hey, come I'm going to come to you so you can do my hair. It's more costume like cosplay. I see a ton of cosplay.
I do always, you know, every time I talk about wanting to be a cosmetologist, I always throw in that, you know, maybe one day I could do it for movie sets or for like the Grammys or the Oscars and you know, all of these giant theatrical award ceremonies.
Yeah.
Like that's the literal like hairstylist dream.
Well,
is to be a stylist for the stars.
And you know, it starts off with you getting your name out there. When I first started to do the work that I do, I could not pay people to come to me for a reading. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna not be a reader. But then after a while, I was like, no, I gotta feel like I'm doing this. So I actually had friends come over and me just pretend to, do a reading, but I would pretend to work on them, do Reiki and so forth, because I just wanted to feel like I was already doing the work that I do. Now it's like I got way too much, but it's good. But it's like I'm grateful for that. But I can remember back to when I was just trying to get my name out there and trying to get people to have confidence in me. So Houston is well known for cosplay. The cosplay into George R. Brown. And if you want to really push yourself out there, get some cards. Go to vistaprint.com, make some cards, get a bunch of friends, work on them, take their pictures, and then post that on your Facebook or on an Instagram. And then when you go to a cosplay event, hand out a bunch of your cards, because that will get your name out there. That shows to the universe that you're dead serious about moving forward and in a different direction in your life. And it's a practical way of starting to do the work. Oh, I lost her.
Well, that was a lot of good information. I'm sure she's going to walk away with it. Loving that. Well, she's back.
Yeah, she's back. Okay. You there? Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. So no worries. Did you catch the part about you going to like the Georgia Brown cosplay and handing out cards and all that?
I did. That would be a really great idea.
Yeah, it's like $20 on Vistaprint to get some cards made, and Facebook is free. So and just work on people and just use what you got, and that'll at least get you some sort of portfolio started, so you can start to have people take you seriously, and then you can and remember, you know your demographics. The people that you know that are into cosplay and stuff, not a lot of them have a whole bunch of money to go spending on all kinds of stuff. They have to work on collecting their things over time, so they're not going to have a whole bunch of money to spend on makeup and stuff. So you kind of want to make it practical, so that way they want to come to you, they can pay you a fee, and you can start the process there, so you can get that clientele moving in. All right, Josie. Well, the last thing was relationship, but I'm going to cover that off camera because that is a little more personal, and I don't want to cover that here on the camera. But I'll connect with you a little later, just so we can complete the reading, and that way you can ask me any follow-up questions you have.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for being on, Josie.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
All right, Josie.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, that was great. You guys got to tune in and see the whole process for Ferny here, giving his reading. So thank you guys for staying with us and watching. If you have questions, again, go ahead and type them in. We're going to go ahead and get back to Jessica here. She asks, can you tell me in regards to my health? She also had a couple other questions. We'll see what we can get to, though. She said, what are my psychic gifts? And also any messages from her grandma or aunt. So first of all, normally we don't do the mediumship so much on live camera because that is a very sensitive topic, talking to the dead. But we can definitely tune into your health, Jessica. I guess I'll start. As far as your body, I'm just kind of doing a scan on you right now. The image I'm getting first is I saw your feet in water, and then I heard, hot water, that you're in hot water right now. So I don't know if there's something going on right now where you're in trouble in a relationship, or that you feel like things are heating up a little bit as far as your foundation goes, because feet are more about foundation. But it really feels like you're deep in something right now. And that being said, it doesn't sound like a bad thing to me. It's more of, I think that you need to do some problem solving right now, and that you need to figure out what it is that you're going to do next. What is your next step for you? Because where you're at right now is not going to stay the same. So if you want to physically move forward, I keep feeling like exercise, like yoga, or even dancing, where you're doing something to music. I feel like music's really important. But I feel like there's something you can do like that right now that's practical that will help start shaking things up, start moving things in the right direction. As far as your psychic gifts go, did you want anything you want to tune in?
Yeah, well, with your health, I was definitely drawn to the endocrine system. For people who don't know what that is, the endocrine system includes the pituitary gland, the thyroid, the adrenals, the pancreas, the prostate, and also the ovaries. I definitely am taken to the endocrine system because I feel like your endocrine system is taking a beating. I do want to cover two areas. I want to cover the thyroid, and I also, for the pancreas, may also feel a little, and this may run in the family where the pancreas is having some issues, where if people have some blood sugar issues, that may also be some of that as well. But I think you push yourself too hard, or you stress yourself out. And because you stress yourself out, it might be pushing your system too hard. Some people who push themselves too hard suffer from adrenal fatigue, where they feel tired all the time or lethargic. So that's also part of the endocrine system. So that's one area that I would say health-wise, I think you need to keep an eye on. If you ever go to the doctor, get your thyroid checked. And there's the initial testing of the thyroid area, but there's also a full panel testing that they do, and that covers much more. So that's what I would suggest. Psychic gifts, I feel like empathy is definitely one of your major strong suits. However, I feel like it's in reverse for you. I feel that what's happening is that instead of you being empathetic towards other people's feelings, you're actually soaking and tuning into other people's feelings and reacting. It's overloading your system, and then you're just reacting. And so some people may say, well, she's a bitch. And she's like, no, you're not a bitch. It's just you're reacting to other people's emotions or energy, and you're taking it on, and it's just too much for you to take on, and you're not realizing that it's happening in the moment. So you may find yourself having mood swings, or you may find yourself just becoming emotional about something, and then totally taking it out or going at someone with it when it's not even your emotion to begin with. It's somebody else that you just encountered. There's so many times where I've had someone come in and I've done a reading for them, and they are having issues in their relationship. Reading's over with, they're gone home, my partner's home, and we start arguing about the same issue that person was just talking about. And it's really not our issue. We've just soaked up the energy that she left behind, or that person left behind in the reading, and then we start to react to it. So I think this is happening a lot in your life, and I think that you need to kind of look at that and assess that. Meditation would definitely help you to get some balance there.
Great. And we have some other questions. Let's go to Sherry. Sherry says, I want to know if you guys see me owning my own business, and when do you see that happening? Sherry, I do see that for you, but timing is everything. I don't see it right away. I see it possibly next year. it feels like spring, almost summertime, but next year. I think there's a lot of things that you still need to get together, that you need to do both emotionally and physically to make this happen. I feel like you have everything that you need, everything it takes to do this. But there are a couple things. One is doubt, that I don't feel like you are necessarily ready emotionally to take this on. But when you get to that, because you're going to just be going through some things that are going to really help you, that are going to challenge you to become that strong, to become that confident. But from here till now, from now till then, I do feel also that a lot of people are going to start coming into your life, coming together to help support you in this vision. So be aware that the people come in, that they're all coming in for you. So just start networking, start talking to everyone that you meet in a way of potential, meaning that no matter who they are, what their personality is like, anybody could be a potential assistant to you in the future, helping you with this vision. So just be kind, be compassionate, and really be open to receive, because this is a time of that gathering of all of the things that you need to realize your vision. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I completely 100% agree with that. I think that you pretty much said it. I think what's many times when people want to have their own businesses, they want that, but they're not willing to trust in themselves and take the risk. And I think that's the one thing that's holding you back, is that you don't have enough faith in yourself. I get the feeling you're going to try to piggyback on somebody else who may already have a business at some point. You may either try to partner up or join their organization and try to use that as a platform to get off the ground with your business. And partnerships can be great if you really, really go into it wanting to work with someone, but you have to be on the same level. And many times when people partner up in business, it's not a good fit, and they're trying to force something to happen, and they're trying to use that person or that other opportunity to get themselves somewhere, even though that other person may not be up to par with what they're trying to accomplish. So I think you need to be very careful with who you decide to partner up with, who you decide to get into business with. You need to plan ahead, because I think that the planning part is going to be a big issue for you, where you try this once, the planning isn't there. And not only that, but I think you're lacking some information that could help make this a success the first time. Then you re-attempt it again. You might attempt it with a partner or someone that's going to go into it with you. That doesn't seem to work out as well, I feel. But great learning experiences, because that's exactly how I got to where I am at today. I partnered up a couple of times, made big mistakes, and then realized that I could just do this on my own and not need to partner up with somebody. So I think that it's you building your confidence level and you going through these experiences that are going to help to get you primed and ready to trust in yourself and to believe that you can do this on your own. So again, just plan ahead, plan. And I think it'd be better for you to just do it on your own and not try to partner up. But if you do, be careful and just be cautious with who you work with.
All right, thank you guys for all these questions coming in. Let me see, there's Gypsy's been asking questions on here too. Do you see cause of my digestive issues that started in November? Do you want to tune into that? Gypsy Ann. Jessica says, makes sense. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead.
Okay, Gypsy. So when I tune into this, it's interesting because I don't necessarily think this is starting with the digestive system. I think this might be hormonal. I think that your body's going through some changes, and you may have actually done something to shift some of your hormonal balance. And I think that your body is either no longer absorbing the nutrients in the way that it has before, or your body's not getting the right signal or the right fluid interactions to cause the digestive system to work properly. So I think there's something actually hormonal that needs to be looked into. I actually feel like your body's producing too much of one hormone and not enough of another. So you might actually be producing too much of one hormone, which might be throwing your whole body out of whack. So I would check into your hormone levels. It'd be interesting to see if you've just recently either like had a child or if you're going through menopause, because I feel the hormones are acting up tremendously.
Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying the readings so far. We're having a fun time today, getting them out there for you guys. Let me see if there's any other questions here that I might have missed. We have, well, Teresa said we're both right on target. Thank you for the feedback. We enjoy that kind of feedback. Okay, so we got to a few of you. All right, did we get to Cece yet? Cece would like to know my gifts as well and what is seen for me and my spouse this year for career. So let me just tune into you first. Your gifts. All right, so I was trying to see you, Cece, but there's like a big wall. It's like a fortress. There's something very sensitive, creative, beautiful inside there, but because of that, I also feel like you've put a wall around it to protect it. The problem with like a doorway is that it goes both ways. If you close that door, yeah, nobody can get in and you can't get out. You lock yourself in. So at this point, you don't have clarity because of that. You don't have clarity because you have sealed things shut. So what I see for you is really opening those walls, like breaking down the walls, opening the doors, opening the windows, and freeing yourself of what you have kind of bound yourself to from early childhood. The fact is that you're in a whole different place right now. You don't need that. You don't need protection. You may have felt you needed it when you were young, but you're not in that place anymore. You're in a place that is actually quite beautiful and confident and safe. So all of that information, I want to come to you. I want you to have that realization and clarity come to you, but you're going to need to just kind of let go of all of that you have been kind of holding on to, that's been making you feel safe all these years, because you're going to feel just as safe when the walls are down and realize you never needed them. But moving forward, as far as your gifts go, again, you're just going to start exploring those. They're really going to blossom once those walls come down. And I feel like a big part of that is you make a very good counselor. You're really good at listening to people, and that they can come to you, they feel safe with you. And it's because you are a wall maker and you know how to do that. You know how to make other people feel safe as well. But you're going to do it in a different way. You're not going to do it the way that you have been doing it. You're going to find a more creative, fun, and spiritual way to help people to feel safe. So counseling is a great thing for you. Do you want to tune in? She's asking also about her and her spouse for career.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you on that wall, because I got hit by the bitch slapped me across the face with that wall. So I think there's an issue that's going on here, is that you've spent so much time trying to be there for others, and it's bitten you in the butt too many times, and now you're not open and receptive to helping others in a way that would be productive for you and be useful for you. And so, many years ago when I used to work at Starbucks, whenever I would hire somebody into the business, I would always try to help them with their direct situation. Like, hey, why are you here? What do you want to accomplish while you're here? Let me help you with that. And I would always give people the opportunity to rise to their potential. They wouldn't always reach that potential. They didn't always want to take advantage of that opportunity. And I kept trying, and it kept biting me in the butt. And I feel like you're maybe doing the same thing. You keep opening up to being there for others, helping others, and it's just over time wearing you down, because you're not getting back what it is that you're putting into it. And so what you need to do is have a shift in energy there, where if you're going to offer people help, if you're going to be there for others, there needs to be a proper exchange of energy so that you are being replenished, you are being fulfilled by the process as well. You're not just being drained. And so you need to look at the people in your life and look at who's taking advantage of you, look at who's draining you, start to make some adjustments so that that doesn't happen as often. And that could be as far as actually dissolving relationships. And I know I've had to do that a few times in my life. And then once you start to do that, start to take better care of yourself. There's a really good book by Cheryl Richardson out there. It's called The Art of Extreme Self-Care. And you need to learn to take care of yourself and give to yourself what you need, because you're not getting it from other people. Probably not for your spouse either. And it's not because there's no love there. It's just that you need to know how to take care of yourself and love yourself. Once you start to give yourself that energy in return, you will start to feel full again, and then you'll want to give again. You'll want to give back to others. I do feel that you're going to get involved in some sort of medical administrative like work if you're not already. I kept seeing Texas Children's Hospital, and whenever someone is going through, and you were talking about counseling, when someone is going through the grief process, or someone is trying to help someone else with their medical situation and they need help understanding the process, I kept seeing that. You may have considered some sort of nursing or opportunity opportunity working in something like that, but I feel that definitely some sort of medical, administrative, possibly even nursing that you might get involved in, because I do feel you are meant to help and to heal others in various forms. You just have to decide how you're going to do that. But you have to pull back your energy by helping those who don't appreciate it, give to yourself, and then you'll be ready for it.
Great. Thank you guys, too. Gypsy says, wow, this matches my email reading with you earlier, Ferny.
I'm glad I'm consistent.
Validation, yeah. Hormonal imbalance. And then Sherry says, thank you guys. It's awesome. Owning my own business is in my heart. So felt like it was going to happen eventually, but didn't feel it was going to be anytime soon. It's great to hear that. Gina, my computer is not letting me watch the video. That's not quite the same. Okay, I guess the angels don't want me to ask for advice. Well, Gina's been a longtime client of mine, actually. I've talked to her on and off for years, and she is wonderful. She actually, maybe we can tune into her now and just kind of give her something that might be helpful if you want to tune into her, since you don't know her.
So Gina, when I tune into your energy, I keep wanting to tell you to travel. I feel like you're sitting on your butt and you're not taking advantage of life and what life has to offer you. I feel like you're waiting for permission for people to tell you that you can just go and do what you want to do. And I think you're holding yourself back and you're waiting for permission. I'm not going to give you permission. You need to make that decision yourself. So I keep seeing you travel. And specifically, I kept seeing California as being significant. So I kept wanting to take you to California. I feel like there's things you want to do. You're just preventing yourself from doing so. If you'll do that, I think that will really start to shift some of the energy in your life, because you're just too stuck in living for other people and not for yourself. Mm-hmm.
That's very in line with what I talked to her about. Her husband travels all the time for work. He's always gone. Right. She is always at home.
So you're secretly jealous of traveling. It's funny because my partner, I'm going to Machu Picchu in April. My partner's not going with me because he's afraid of Zika, you know. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to come back with Zika. It's worth it for me if I get back into the country, you know, with all the administration and stuff. But I know he's secretly jealous because he wants to go, but he's holding himself back for whatever reason. And I always allow myself to do the things that I want to do, whether he's with me on it or not. And I think that you need to stop using your husband as an excuse to not do the things you want to do. You know, he does what he does, great. Then give yourself permission to do what you want to do. And if he has a problem with that, so what? Let him have some issue with that. My partner was not on board with me being a psychic full time, and he just was very much against it, not because he didn't believe in me, but because he didn't see it being something stable, something that I could do and sustain our lives with. And I said, well, you know, I appreciate your input, but oh well, I'm still going to do it. And I did it. And now, 2 years later, he says, you know, this is the best decision you ever made. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you're on board with that. So,
gotta follow our heart. Yeah, it's just, you know, with Gina especially, she just published a children's book, and I was thinking, would it be great for her to travel
and promote
with
the
that book? And it's really, what I love about it is it's about basically bringing yoga to kids and meditation. It's Zen and Bodhi's Snowy Day, I believe, and it's you know, she had someone do music to a CD, so it's like a song as well. It's just beautiful. But she that's something I don't see a lot of, is bringing meditation and spirituality to children.
That's really good, because I was just watching a documentary actually yesterday, and it's about this woman who, she's from the Netherlands or Iceland, and she used to work for the United Nations, and she got burnt out, and she wanted to feel connected to her intuition. And think of the documentary is about intuition. And so she spent some time exploring intuition. And in one of the scenes, they were visiting a school in the UK where they taught children meditation and how to deal with their issues and coping mechanisms for everyday issues. And one of the students, he had personality issues, and he started fighting with the kids in the beginning of school. And then when they taught him these coping mechanisms, he doesn't fight anymore. He actually is very calm, very collected, and his intelligence just went up a notch. So I think the work that you do is super important, and I think that there's a lot of people that can benefit from that, but no one's going to know you exist unless you say, hey, here I am, watch me roar.
Get in their face and travel. Cece says, so spot on. Wow, resonates 100%. Thank you both so much. You're welcome, Cece. I'm glad we can help. And you guys, thank you all for tuning in. I mean, we've had a lot of wonderful questions on here today. I think we got to all of them. If not, we will hopefully be doing this again, and you'll get more. Or you can book a one-on-one session with either of us. Go to fernandomarin.com or ingridcaresinjured.com and book those sessions, and you can get a lot more in a one-on-one. But thank you so much for watching, you guys. Do you have any final thoughts? Jerry Springer. My final thoughts.
If you want the universe to take you seriously, take yourself seriously and act in that theme. So if you want the universe to take you seriously and you're asking for something, do it first, and then the universe will react in kind.
And another thing that actually was told to me by my guides this morning, I was sweeping. Usually when I'm cleaning, I zone out, and that's when they start talking to me. But I got a lesson today about balance, and that there always has to be balance. Meaning that if you want something, you can't just sit and hope and pray for it. What you have to do is decide, what can I do right now? What can I do? So if you want something, what you can do is give something, because the balance of that will always come, meaning that when you give, you will receive. But you have to take the initiative on that. So make sure that you're putting effort out, whether it's for your career, your health, that you're doing something, moving toward that goal, so that, like he said, that you're showing that you're serious about it, but also you are getting the energy flowing. So do something. And remember, if you want help, give help. If you want money, donate some money. You have to do something that you are in control of, and just open it up for the universe to help you out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We hope to see you next time. Have a great week. Bye, guys.
Bye.